Alright, we're going to be watching Bumsta, who's going to be playing, I think, a variety of heroes here. But it's going to be starting as Diva on Blizzard World, and this is Plat 4, I assume on PC. Hey everyone, I would love some feedback on the following game. I am a Plat 4, peaked Plat 2 last season, who had Masters back in Overwatch 1 while one-tricking Rhine. With Overwatch 2, I feel as a tank main, it's more necessary to have a diverse tank lineup due to the way counterpicks work, I would agree, and the fact that each team only has one tank. This game, I did quite a few swaps avoiding Rhine. In order of comfort level, I play Rhine, Winston, Diva, Zarya, Orisa. I did some analysis in the game, here's what I found. I would like some meta-analysis from you guys on if I'm viewing my VOD correctly, or if I'm being too easy on myself. I know that there's a lot of analysis. This is a big wall of text, but I want to make sure that one, I can effectively VOD review myself, and two, that I give a best faith effort before I try to analyze the replay. I think this is great. I think this is a really fantastic attitude, honestly, and I've thought about putting together tips for people to better review their own gameplay before they post it, just to help them out. I think the questions I have are, one, which is my strongest hero I played? Two, are mechanics holding me back, or can I climb back to Masters, what I have now? 3, which is the weakest hero I played. 4, how much is lost on me? I know I could have done better many points as there's always room to improve, but would you say I overperformed or underperformed the lobby? And we can cover all that stuff. And then there's the shout out to my Blizzard World video. Maybe I should link it in this video in case somebody's interested, where I talk about tank positioning. So that's really cool. That's actually why I got myself out of bed to go review this, because I was thinking about going to bed early, and I was like, I got a shout out, so might as well review it. All right, so I don't think I want to read the rest because there's a lot of stuff here, but maybe we'll go over it at the end. So for starters, I would say don't play this far back. I think you should play up here, and the primary reason is to be able to scout sooner. So back here, you may not have good line of sight to figure out what they could possibly do. So for example, let's say they have a tracer, and the tracer comes through this way, and then goes like blink, blink, blink or something like that. Like, you won't necessarily see that, right? Or she could go across or something like that. And you want to really scout out what they have, right? For example, they have Ball, or they have Winston, or they have Orisa, or Roadhog. Like, you want to play very differently. Like, let's say it's a Roadhog. The Roadhog could conceivably get quite far up here, like if he hugs the right without you noticing, and then get all the way over here and then hook a support, and that might be the first time that you see or notice the Roadhog. So there's no reason not to play up here. Like, you have no real chance, like unless you get like slept or something, like slept/hook, you have no real chance of losing your mech. So I think you should play up here. Which also allows your team to start spamming them earlier, right? That's the other thing, is that if you play back here, your team's going to be like, oh, I guess we should play way back here. But if you play up, your team can stay up. And then again, the defenders are going to take some amount of damage walking up here, and you want your team to build that ult charge and potentially get a pick. I think that there's no reason not to start here and then fall back very quickly, especially as a mobile tank. Like, if you're playing Rhine, maybe you're like, oh, I'll never be able to get back to high ground. Not that you should play high ground anyway, but if you're Ryan, you're like, oh, I'm never going to be able to get back here in time, which is accurate. But playing as Diva, you can get anywhere anytime you want. So I think that you actually should have opened over here. Actually, it looks like you do, but you see everybody else is playing back. I was wondering if you did anything that tipped off your team to go back, like if they saw you playing back. I mean, this is not the worst thing in the world. I just think as an optimization, I think you should play forward, even if your team plays back here. Because you can, again, from here, there's no way, like the only entrance is there and there. You know what I mean? Like, there's no way that they can flank you here and get somebody on your team before you can react. So I think you should play up, and then you can farm move missiles or whatever it is. Alright, so they have Pharah here, and let's read your first point to defense. You start by blocking some fan from Pharah and Junk. At 3:31, I try to save Reaper by body blocking Zarya, but it's too late. Maybe I should have kill quicker. At 3:17, I try to pressure the Ana because I cannot fight Zarya, Pharah, or Mercy. Over, I feel like I did not pop off on this point. Losing point did not feel like my fault. I'm curious what the optimal play here would have been. The best I can think of is when I retreat, do not get demeched, instead fall back to healers, wait, then go in and recontest. Well, losing your mech is definitely going to be a problem, and it's almost assuredly going to end up being your fault. So you're eating the spam, but you see that the Junkrat does not have it lined up. You see how I can already tell visually that this is way short. Like, it's not even close. He'd have to aim it significantly higher up, so don't waste your matrix here doing this. Until it gets higher, don't even worry about it. Right? It feels like you're like, oh, my job is to eat spam, but the spam's not on target, so don't worry about it. So your Reaper stepped up. I'd already noticed this, and this is, again, a problem. Like, your Reaper decided to go up, which is kind of a weird decision, because, we were playing back here for so long, but he's flanking. And now he's going to go in, which is going to put you in kind of a tough bind here. I don't think you can realistically help him. I think that I would get ready to save him after he wraiths out. Again, you're just holding Matrix at a Pharah in the air who's not even looking at you. Like, she's not looking at you right now. She's clearly shooting at the Reaper. So I would not, yeah, obviously. Okay, you go over to save the Reaper. Great. Okay. So I think your Reaper put you in a bad position. I think definitely this is a misplay by the Reaper. This is like a really weird call. I think, again, once it started, remember I said you should get in position to help? You're too far away. So I would have dropped right now or even boosted to this corner because I expect the Reaper to be coming towards me. You know what I mean? It's either coming towards me or he's going towards the Mega. And so I already want to be here to help. But you just kind of sit back here, but you're not doing anything back here. And again, the Reaper is clearly out of position. Like, this is like a really bizarre play. Like, the Reaper does not really deserve to live here. But again, one of the things that we do to climb is that we cover up for our teammates' mistakes. And if you'd been playing here earlier, up here, you could have pressured the Zarya out. Because the Zarya is not going to just turn her back to you and shoot the Reaper when you're shooting her in the back and the head. You know what I mean? Like, she's going to turn and start farming you, and the Reaper maybe has a few more seconds to live here. Again, if you're like right here at this corner, which is totally safe, like there's no reason to expect that you die here, you could be putting pressure on Zarya, but again, she's like totally ignoring you and goes in the Reaper. So let's say hypothetically you did get put into a bad position right here. Can you save this Reaper? So I think it actually was possible to save the Reaper here. So you end your boost early, number one. Okay, so you still have over half your boost left, which would easily have gotten you to this doorway. And then you would have got there about the same time as Zarya and got in front of her and then body blocked. But you take this defensive angle, right? That passive angle, watch, you'll fly, and then instead of going straight towards the doorway, you kind of like waffle and go towards the stall a little bit, which allows the Zarya to get in. Then you hold Matrix, but Matrix not going to do anything against Zarya. So you were better off actually just running forward and shooting. So one thing to recognize here is that in no world can you kill the Zarya, right? She's just got here. She's in this room with just a one-on-one, and you know she has 2 bubbles because you've never seen her use any bubbles. D.Va cannot beat Zarya in a close-range fight if she has 2 bubbles. Even at 0 energy, you're not going to win that fight. So in this situation, you shouldn't be popping missiles because missiles are just going to feed the bubble energy, right? Your goal here is to save your Reaper, not to kill the Zarya. And I know it's like, oh, I have an opportunity to get close range to like land missiles, but it's not actually going to do anything. It's actually going to hurt you more than it'll help you. So you feed a ton of energy here. Now the second that you go in here, right, and you try to body block for the Reaper, which is like fine, right? Reaper's dead. The second this happens, I turn and boost out. Because what am I doing here, right? Like your thrusters are back up, right? They're clearly available right now. I don't want to fight the Zarya because again, Zarya versus D.Va is not a good matchup. And then you get melted right now. So already we can see you're down 1, which means you're very likely to win the fight. You're probably like 75% plus chance of losing this fight. But you could have saved the Reaper. So I would already say, like, you know, how much is lost on you? I mean, yeah, I mean, for sure, again, to clarify, the Reaper is out of position and should not have done that. That was a crazy play. But I think that you could have actually saved the Reaper or at least done a way better job at making it close. Because, like, hypothetically, let's say that you were here in time when the Reaper comes out. Right? Like, let's say you'd body block the Zarya. I think the Reaper would just go back to the Mega. And yeah. I think you definitely could have saved the Reaper here. Yeah, you just go in, you body block the Zarya, or even just make her turn on you, right? Or you just go here and shoot at the Zarya and slow her down. Because if she's walking up here and you're at the corner, she's not going to keep walking like this and then go after the Reaper. You know what I mean? She'll start playing right here, or she'll turn, you know, put bubble on and zap you instead of trying to chase down the Reaper. So yeah, you 100% could have saved the Reaper. So that's going to be the biggest problem here is you're just down 1 right away. Okay. So, from here, you're going to boost back, and you're going to take high ground, which is fine. I think that's good. And then you immediately drop back down. But why are you dropping back down? All right, so you're going into Zarya Beam, which is never good for you. And just to hold, what, like a little bit of spam going at your Baptiste is pretty far away. Like, your Baptiste isn't low. I think my read here is, A, that you don't have a lot of experience with D.Va, but B is I think you're misunderstanding the nature of D.Va. Like, I feel like you think D.Va is a very defensive tank where you're like, oh, I'm just going to eat all my spam. My team's going to kill him. You can only eat like 3 seconds of spam, right? What happens after the 3 seconds are over? It's not, you should not try to eat all spam. You should try to eat valuable damage. I think D.Va is one of the hardest tanks to play from a decision-making perspective because you can do everything okay, right? You can dive in people okay, you can peel for people okay, right? You can eat spam okay, you can be mobile, right? And off angle okay, but you're not great at any of the things. Unlike other tanks that are much more specialized, right? You can sort of brawl, right? The key thing is understanding like what is the highest value option available to me, and because you can do all the things, it's hard to play D.Va. It's honestly quite hard to play D.Va. When I played at Overwatch 1, I got all the way up to GM on, I think it was mostly like Zarya, Ryan, Winston, etc. And I wanted to play Diva because at the rank that I was at, like hit scan was like a huge problem, and I didn't feel comfortable playing Diva. I played Diva. I lost like 700 SR, something crazy. You can go back in my post history, you'll see me when I played like 200 games of Diva and was like tracking like how I did. I lost like a crazy amount of SR. I basically dropped from like GM all the way to like mid diamond before I started climbing all the way back up to high masters and then stopped playing. But a big part of it was just understanding for Diva, like I can do all the things, but which is the correct thing to do is really hard to identify. But this is not it, right? Like this, where you make a mistake here. This is already a big mistake. You already fit 350 full charge her. Then you drop back down right away. There's no need. You didn't need to do that. There's no need for that whatsoever. Right? I think you just go back up here, then you get healed, and then you look around. Just try to think of it this way. You do not want to fight the Zarya under any case scenario. I'm going to say, unless she's killable, you do not want to fight the Zarya. There's no reason to fight the Zarya here. So I think what I would do here, I mean, it's tough. I mean, this is one of the reasons why I don't play Diva right off the bat, is because I think Diva is not a good all-purpose tank in the way that like Orisa I think can be played virtually any case scenario. But in this situation, I think I play high ground and I attempt to peel or like distract the Pharmacy as long as I can, right? And the idea being is not that I'm going to kill them. I need them to spread out and give me an opportunity, okay? It's unlikely that the Zarya is just going to stand on point and just like zap, because you see the high ground is going to be a problem for the people in the back, right? The Junk and the Anna cannot walk up safely here because he's getting shot by the Baptiste and getting shot by the Cassidy, and that's going to be an issue. Like they could get potentially two tapped here just stepping forwards. So they might play like very shy here. The Zarya will feel pressure to be like, oh, I got to do something, and she'll probably walk this way and try to climb. At that point, I can evaluate, can I kill her here with my team? Or can I dive these two back here that are stuck, right? Or can I dive the Mercy here, for example? You have a lot of options. And that's why I would just go here and just stall the Pharmacy for a while. Because again, I also know that my Reaper is respawning, and we're down in numbers. So I want to give as much time on the point. I do not want to speed up this fight. That's really, really important. I do not want to speed up this fight in any way. So anything I can do to delay the fight is better. Dropping down here is going to cause you to take a ton of damage, which is going to mess you up really bad. Okay. So you're down to 244 health, which is really unfortunate. And again, see, if you stayed up here, like opportunities are now arising, right? The Junkrat's starting to overextend, and the Anna's far in the back. Like, you didn't need to drop off high ground to do this, and now you've just given up their high ground, your high ground, right? Because you got forced off. Your high ground gets forced off by the Pharmacy, which again, if you've been here and just like matrixing, like your Cassidy might have been able to force them back. Maybe not get a kill, but buy time, and time here is what you really need. So from this point, like the point's pretty scuffed. Okay, because you lost high ground control, you're down 1. It's really hard to imagine what you can possibly do to turn this around. I think going for the Anna is a good call. Again, I think your odds of winning this fight are now like sub 10%. So there's very limited things that you can do to win now, because I think you made a lot of mistakes. So you boost in. This is the right call to go after the Anna, because she's clearly not paying attention. So boost in, turn towards her, activate missiles, and then turn off boost when you bump her. So you consistently, I've noticed this, turn off boost too early. You want to hit her, which number 1 does 15 damage. Number 2 moves you closer, which makes it easier to land missiles and cannon. And number 3, by touching her, it will bump her backwards in a straight line, which makes it easier to land shots. Okay? This is really important to be able to consistently execute this like, basically, it's not quite a one-shot, but this like, basically like quick kill, this burst kill on Diva. It is a critical part. You cannot climb if you cannot burst kill 200 health heroes quickly. It's like virtually impossible, because it's such an important part of her kit. It's like in Roadhog, you can't, I mean, pre-balance changes. If you can't execute the one shot on Roadhog, it was really, really hard for you to ever climb. You must expect to burst people down instantly like this. So, for Anna, when you're trying to fight her as Diva, you have 2 cooldowns that you need to eat. Number 1 is grenade, and number 2 is missiles. Or sorry, sleep, okay? So there's a bunch of different strategies on how you can do this, but the most consistent one, or rather the best one, if your reflexes are good, is the second that she starts moving her hand down, right, for any reason. Basically, the second she moves her hand off her rifle, it's either going to sleep or grenade. Okay, that's what the animation does, is as soon as her hand moves, let's actually watch it in slow motion. Right. So the splash happened confusingly early. I think it's a replay issue. But you see the second her arm starts moving, then she's going for sleep or she's going for grenade and immediately eat that. So I personally don't even feel like I can do that consistently unless I'm like, I mean, sleep dart maybe because you have some time. Grenade, she's grenading herself is quite difficult. So I think of it more as prediction. So I bump her, I shoot her, right, and activate missiles as I'm going in. And as she's getting hit with missiles, then I start matrixing. Because it's very hard for the Ana to resist grenading herself when she's still getting hit by missiles. And she may not realize, because missiles are going to keep happening even if Matrix is up. She may not think in her head, like, oh, the cannons have stopped, like Matrix is up. She's just going to reactively be like, oh, I'm being dived, instinctively throw grenades / sleep. So you ate both, and then you make a mistake right here. So at this point, you're committed. Okay? You've eaten both abilities, you should be walking forwards to kill her. At this point, this is an easy kill. It's a 314 health Diva against an Ana at, what is this, like 140 health? Who has no cooldowns. Like, this should be an easy kill for you now. Instead, you pull back, which is a massive mistake. And now you have just there's no way. Like, it's like 5-on-1 right now. So I know you said, oh, you should have pulled back to your... There's no way that you should ever expect to have gotten out of this. Like, it's like inconceivable. So I would not say this is a quote-unquote mistake. I think at this point you were screwed no matter what. Okay, so you got all 5. In fact, you just killed Zarya. So you killed... Oh, yeah, push right now, for sure. You just killed 2. You walk in the trap, unfortunate. See how your Matrix is already down? Like, you burn so much of your Matrix all the time. And one part of it is simply, like, you're not reading the Junkrat situation well. Okay, so Junkrat should be reloading right now. So you see how you instinctively pop Matrix right now? Look how much Matrix you lost before the fight even starts. Right? So you've already lost a fifth of it. Now you've lost a third of it. Now you've lost 50%, and you haven't seen an enemy yet. You still haven't seen an enemy yet, right? Because that Junkrat we only saw because we could see the Junkrat through the wall. So you lose 2/3 of your Matrix before seeing an enemy. So your Matrix usage is really poor. Really, really poor. You should be looking, hey, like right now, this is a good time to hold Matrix because the Reaper's low, right? Potentially one-shottable, and the Junkrat's here. This is the time for me to be holding Matrix. But now you don't have it, then you pop Matrix anyway. I don't think you're looking at your gauge at all. And then what you should evaluate here is, are we trying to push this, or are we trying to just hold the corner? And I think you could push this. I think this is actually the right call to push. Especially knowing that they have a Zarya. I would go boost up over here and take the off angle and just try to force them back. And then hopefully your team kind of steps forward. Like, your map piece is already here. Yeah, you're good, you're good. Go up here, take the high ground, and make this your team fight, right? Die here and force them to use ultis or whatever to deal with you. It is going to be very hard for Zarya to deal with you on high ground because she can't zap you, right? Not consistently from low ground, which means she might try to go up and you could potentially boop her off. Or, like, if she does, in fact, go up here and starts coming up, then you can go down, right? And then fight the team. And then she tries to drop and get you, and then you can go back up. You need to exploit that mobility on Diva to win, right? Diva is just not very good at any particular thing. So you have to recognize, like, what are your strengths and play to them. Cassidy is absolutely popping off right now. Again, you don't want to mess with the Zarya, right? You don't want to feed that Zarya ult charge. Because she does way more damage than you do. Never trade positively with her. Sorry. Okay. So, you already saw the Junkrat shooting at you from the right. So I would recognize here is that the Junkrat may end up being overextended. Because the Junkrat's probably not thinking that I'm going to dive him, but I'm totally thinking I could dive him. If that Zarya steps forward, I'm looking for an opportunity right now to go after the Junk. Okay. So, again, Zarya's walking away. Now the Junk is totally alone. I would dive. I would totally dive this. Yeah. Great. And then, yep, Matrix after, make sure you don't dive the mines. Go back up. You see/hear the Ana. Right, she's playing around the corner. Again, yep, good. Right, that's perfect. Right, and come back. Yep, this is good. Zarya's clearly out of position. I would commit to this. You pop missiles too early. Right? Like, you're way too far away to use missiles right now. You must get closer before popping missiles. Like, right now, this is when you would pop missiles. Like, you're lucky that she dies here. So, as soon as I see this, right, you kill, you turn, I see the Pharaoh, I immediately go. Why not? right? It gets me back in line of sight of my healers. I can tell my team is shooting at her. Just go. Like, what are you holding Matrix here for? Right? You're at 266. The Ana's not going to kill you with sleep darts. You should go. You should go back and take back high ground. Yeah, perfect. And then activate missiles as you go in, right? Because you can tell she doesn't have much altitude here, because that's why she's like hovering like this. Activate missiles on your way in and then try to blow her up. Great. Look for the Mercy. Mercy got the res off. Fine. You know what it is, what it is. All right, I think it's a very good play to be playing high ground here. All right, Mercy's low. Ugh. Okay, I don't think this is the right call. So the Mercy's stuck in the open. So think about this way: the Mercy will die here if nothing else happens. You know what I mean? Like, she cannot survive in the open here no matter what. I would just keep shooting her and wait for her to Guardian Angel. Because Guardian Angel happens every 2 seconds. It's like insanely like quick cooldowns. So I would just shoot and wait for her to Guardian Angel. And when she Guardian Angels, fly behind her with her flight path and activate missiles, and you'll like instantly kill her. So watch. So you activate missiles or boost too early. Alright. So as a result, like, you kind of bump her and you have trouble tracking. But instead, watch what would have happened if you did what I said. You shoot, okay? Like, imagine I'm sitting here and I'm just waiting, and then she floats, and then I fly like this. And you see how easy this kill would have been? That would have been great. That would have been your money play right there. Yep, blow up the Zarya. Right, she's really overextended. Again, you can't kill her from that range. I would honestly just poke the Mercy. So in situations like this, you can't actually kill the Pharaoh. Mercy heals like 55 health a second. You can't do more than 55 damage a second at this range. Even if you did like 60, that's only 5 net damage a second. It's going to take you, 40 seconds or whatever to kill her. Just shoot the Mercy, right? That's really annoying, and it prevents Mercy from rezzing, from regenning with their passive. I can already save. Yep, that's fine. I mean, I don't even think I would need to drop. I can recognize that I don't see anything in the doorway, so just we're safe. I would think about the kill here, but I'm not going to drop down because I know there's a bunch of people in there. But now that Reaper ulti goes off, now I go for the kill. Because now I understand that there's nothing, like, the Reaper's pinning them back. Yeah. Okay, so Zarya's coming out. If she's not looking at me, yeah, I'll shoot her. Go ahead. So you saw on your right, you saw this Junkrat jump out of spawn. And you don't react to this at all. This is what you should have been looking at. You can both see it and hear it. Right there. Okay, then you should have turned and killed the Junkrat. You get a little frazzled here. You activate missiles. Again, it's not like high value missiles. It's really hard to hit that angle down here. You see how many missiles are missing? Don't activate missiles like that. Like, save missiles for when you know you're actually going to be able to kill somebody with it. Go for the Ana. Yeah, that's pretty good. That's pretty good tracking, actually. Alright, you come back. This is a great example where I want to hold Matrix the whole time. Somebody is respawning. The pocketed Junkrat is walking towards them. I want to hold for all 5 grenades plus a concussive mine. But you don't have Matrix because you waste Matrix regularly. Alright, I would evaluate right now. Right now, if I were you, I'd look and be like, okay, who's up right now? Because I know I lost some people because, I'm just having trouble with the fight. I'm down 2 DPS. I don't want to play here anymore. Right? Like, you can like mess around a little bit, but I do not want to play here anymore. Oh, sweet, they went Ryan. I would be thrilled if I saw Ryan. Don't do this. So, I know he looks low, but he's being pocketed, and like he has people coming out of spawn, so he's gonna get double pocketed here. You have no chance at killing him. Yeah, he never even drops any lower than what he started at, and then you get trapped, and then I can't believe you lose back. You're very lucky. Alright, that's a good instinct, right? To DM for high noon. You use missiles for some reason. I'm not really sure what the missiles are triggered by. This looks like probably a misclick. Yeah, that looks like you just misclicked. So, right here, when you see the Rhine overextended, right now, it's a good boost. Fly to the right and then bump him in. Bump him in and then hide behind the corner here while shooting him. So you see how your bump is not like perfect? It actually kind of knocks him, I think, sideways. Yeah. Again, if you gotten behind him, you would have knocked him around the corner, which would have virtually guaranteed that he dies. Great. Yep, and now commit. So, at this point, I can't remember if sleep happened, but I would fly towards the Mercy while activating missiles, because I know she has no one to Guardian Angel to. Because if there was, like, they would already be here and it would be visible. Nobody's going to be, like, running backwards like spawn like that. They would be here, like, shooting or fighting right now. So I understand that nobody is here, but people are going to be spawning. So I want to dive the Mercy as soon as I can to kill the Mercy. Then I kill the Ant, and then you get a really good stack around it. I would ignore the turrets. I would just go. But opportunities lost. That's fine. Play high ground. Yep. This is great. Like, they have a Ryan. Like, what the heck is he going to do to stop you? I would think Junkrat Tire is coming. Okay? DPS ulti. Because I've already seen my DPS ulti. Like, both DPS ulti. Reaper ulted their spawn. Cassidy hiding in the last fight. So I haven't seen their ultis at all. So I'm going to assume Tire is going to be the big problem to deal with. And to try to keep an eye on the Junkrat and try to kill the Tire / like make him do it from far away. Okay. So you look, you're like, okay, the Ryan's here. Nano, there's nothing you can do about this. Don't even try. There's no, like, it is not your job to deal with this Ryan. It's the job of the whole team to just kite the Ryan. Like, even if he wasn't nanoed, it's not your job to deal with him. But you're definitely not doing anything to him while he's nanoed. Okay, so instead, Sim's here. This is not a good fight for you, right? Pocketed Sim. You'd have to have godly tracking to win this fight. Well, I think you'd leave right now. I see what you're trying. I think you're trying to boop him to slow him down, but you're actually going to take damage here, and then, like, lamp goes off. I don't know if the lamp is for you. Oh, it's for the Cassidy. And then you end up in low ground, which is the real problem here. Because you don't have enough thrusters after this, you have to get the high ground here. Because you don't want to be in front of the Rhine. But instead, you land in front of the Rhine, which is the worst possible case scenario, and then you get demech, and now things got the Rhine. Alright, let me read what you said for second point. Start second point, we hold high ground. I was wondering what level you think my aim is. Honestly, worse than Plat, to be honest. Anyway. I start feeling pressure from the end of Ryan. It causes us to fall back. I end up wasting my ult and then getting one hit by one hell of a sleep dart. Oh, okay. Do you pop ulti here too? Yeah, this is not the time to pop because you don't have like your full. Yeah. No, because like your Reaper just died, right? Like there's no reason to be popping. Like I would feel this and be like, my Reaper is like crazy overextended. Like I don't think this is gonna turn into anything valuable, but. If you are going to pop mech, you should get around the corner, right? You should have immediately been like, oh, I'm leaving, because you don't want to lose, not get demeched, and then you get charged, and then things go awry. Okay, so this is another good example where like you try to hunt down projectiles to eat, even if they're not doing anything. You really should be going right side, because you want to take high ground as soon as possible. That's what I talked about a lot in my video, right? If you take high ground on second point, it's virtually impossible for them to move the cart any further. You don't need to go to the left. There's no reason to go to the left. The right side is way better cover, and that's the direction your Reaper is going. You don't need to go to the left unless you're going up this way, which would also be fine. But you're just standing here, and you're like, oh, I'm being spammed? Let me eat the spam. There's no one behind you. Like, what are you eating spam for? This is not a thing that you need to do, right? And because you didn't go right side, your Reaper gets deflected, right, peeled by the Rhine. If you and the Reaper were there, I guarantee you that Ryan would have gone back because the two of you would do enough damage to force the Ryan back. You're spending too much time shooting this trap. Like, if someone walks in the trap, like, so be it. It's like fairly obvious the trap is there. I'm not so worried about it. I would just shoot the Ryan while I have the chance of the offing. Like right here, I would be shooting the Ryan and missiling him. I don't know, shooting for sure. Okay, take high ground, kill turret, great. Symmetra's there. This is way too far away to pop missiles. Like, even for the teleporter, it's not worth it. Instead of doing this, I would be like, hey, look, where is their team? Like, they have to be here. You know what I mean? Like, I can hear my Reaper fighting and shooting right now, and you're shooting a teleporter. What you should have done here is that when your Reaper drops, you should drop with him right now. And then Matrix. Regardless of whether or not he was going to do this or not, even if he's just going to shoot people and wraith away, I would have dropped with him because you want to synergize with your DPS. Again, you could have so easily killed this Anna. She dropped all the way down to 30 health. Reaper eventually gets her, and then Reaper dies. Again, very savable by you. Like, holding high ground doesn't mean that you just sit high ground like literally the whole time. If your team drops, like, play with them, especially as a mobile tank that can easily go back up the high ground at any time. So you traded both DPS for nothing, effectively. Ryan is absolutely bonkers. So this right here, this res is a missile, right? Missiles and then drop in her face and shoot her in the head. To not get the kill here is tragic. And now you have no chance because now you're down like 3 people. What are you gonna do? Yeah, just die. At least you force Simwall. Alright, so you go Zarya, which I don't feel like is a good counter to Rein. I mean, it's not terrible, especially at this level. I think you can run anything, but I wouldn't think, oh, there's a Rein, let me play Zarya. The reason why is because Rein has a very high health shield, so he can keep running at you with the shield. Then he can hit you, force bubble, and because he attacks so slowly, it's very easy for, and it's cancelable, it's very easy for him to bait the bubble. Then he can hold shield, wait for a bubble to expire, attack you, wait for second bubble to expire, and then kill you. That's the problem here. And if you can get up to high energy, yeah, you can still melt him, but he can do a really good job preventing you from getting to high energy. Right? So Rein's doing a good job shield hopping. He misses you with the shatter? Did you bubble? Oh man, you're bubbled and he shatters anyway for some reason. Okay, that's a mistake. Not necessary. And then he charges the wall. Okay. Enemy Rein making some mistake. So this is the thing. It's like you go out of your way to shoot this turret. But like, whatever, you know? Like this turret over there is not gonna kill your team. The Rein who's walking into you, forcing your team back, that's a problem. Like look at the space here that this Rein creates, starting from here. Your team's moving backwards, 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 still moving backwards, still moving backwards, still moving backwards. The Rein has literally pushed you from here all the way into your spawn. Still moving backward and dies because he's an idiot. But he could easily have just like stepped back here and gotten healed and you would have been pinned in your spawn. And you might say, probably, well, what could I have done about this? Number one, I would say is this is why I don't like playing Zarya into Rein, is because if you can't get energy, then you lose. And it's really hard to get energy off of Rein. But the second is you need to get, like, you need to have way better bubbles. It was a good job holding bubble there. I think that was a clutch hold. Yeah, overall, I just feel like you're just not. You get so excited because of how far back he puts you. Overall, I just feel like this is not a good hero choice for this situation. Like, I don't know that there's like so much differently I could have done. I would say the little thing is right-clicking the Rein's feet right in front of him is actually super effective at slowing the Rein down. It slows him down by a non-trivial. I would guess at least 25% if you continually right-click his feet. Because I know if a Rein is swinging at you, you can right-click his feet to move out of swing range, even though you're 10% slower. So I know that trick works. So you could have right-clicked here and potentially stopped him, right? The other thing, I'm just wasting your bubbles here is absolutely... Okay, let me correct this. What could you have done here? Not waste bubbles. If you wasted bubbles and got no energy here, there's nothing you can do to stop this Rein. But hypothetically, let's say that you did not waste your 2 bubbles. Right? Because you have right now just 1 charge and only 30 energy instead of having, 80 charge and zero bubbles or 0 charge and 2 bubbles. But when he starts pushing into you right here, so I need to hold something. Okay? This corner, not safe. Right here, this is doable. Okay? And then as he starts coming forwards, he shatters. I want to shift into his path to get in his way. Because you can use your health as a resource and trade health for space. Remember that you have 2 supports here. Okay? Baptiste heals, I don't know, like 60 damage, 60 health a second or so. Mercy can heal another 55 damage. Let's just round, say 120 health a second. Like, you can just stand here and tank the Rein. And he's not going to keep running by you, swinging, if you're just in his face, body blocking him. And as long as he doesn't do 120 damage a second, which he does not, I mean, Nano he does, but his nail's gonna run up pretty soon. As long as he doesn't do that, then you can physically block him from walking forwards, right? You want him to be attacking you, not your team. And because you constantly keep walking out of the way, your team gets walked over. Again, you don't have energy. It's like a really bad situation, but there's a lot of errors here that have happened. If you look at this situation, one of the questions you asked earlier, this video's gonna be super long. One of the questions you asked earlier was, how much was it my fault that we lose this game, okay? And I'm going to say a lot, because if you look at this situation, just from the vertical view, your job as a tank is to make space, okay? Like, no excuses. Like, your job is to make space. I think we all agree on that. So, remember that the Rein just pushes you in the whole way. You're being pocketed, okay? Your Reaper's dead, which is silly. But it's not like nobody else is getting picked off, okay? You have 4 people here, right? You have all your resources. You're just wasting them. Like, you're just getting forced back by their tank. And if you're playing, for example, Orisa here, you just stonewall this Rein easily. or even just playing Ryan here. I think you can stop the Ryan. Certainly slow him down from what actually happened. Alright, slip, doesn't matter. So in this situation, they're clearly moving very aggressively. I would not be thinking to use bubbles to get energy here, because I know I'm going to get attacked anyway. Like, once the Ryan gets up close, he's going to be swinging for the fences. So don't think, oh, let me try to farm some energy. Just play to stop the Ryan and slow him down. So right here, you need to be beaming the heck out of the Ryan constantly. Like, don't right click here. Right? Remember, right click does way less damage than left click. So it does half as much damage as left click. So just keep beaming the Ryan constantly. And also with 20 ammo there, you could have shot one for right clicking. Right? Also there's another shatter coming in pretty soon. I can tell because the Ryan's just been like so aggressive on you the whole time. He's getting a lot of swing. You die here, a preventable death. You can see the Junkrat. Okay, yeah, bubble, yeah, that's fine. Okay, you have grab, but the problem is you have no real energy and your team can't follow up because the shield's there. Pop shield or pop bubble to this. I think this is a good grab. I mean, all things considered, I think that you kind of did the best that you could here. There's the shadow I'm talking about. Bubble on the Mercy, I think it's fine. Gotta beat people down. Yeah. I feel like your DPS has gotten Bastion here to shut down the tank. That's often what happens when I'm carrying as tank, is that they go Reaper and Bastion to just prevent me from walking over the enemy team. Okay, bubble. Again, window doesn't help you at all. So in this situation, where you're like, you have no bubbles and you're 375, you gotta be backing him. You have to give him space right now because you don't have bubbles to prevent this Ryan from walking over. Yeah. I can like feel it. It's like tough because there's like a dance of like knowing when you're gonna win or not. From experience, I'd be like at 290, I'm getting out. Like I do not want to be fighting the Ryan anymore without bubbles. And then I would be right clicking his feet to prevent him from doing this. Exactly, like walking into you. Once that happens, wow, you managed to get out. Oh, you get res. That's what happens. Okay, this is a mess. So you gotta focus somebody, not just zapping space, right? I would probably be going for the Ana here. And I'd probably just keep using bubbles on myself to just stall Carlos all I could. But okay, you have like 0 chance of actually holding that at that point. Third point. They have a lot of spam. Alright, so we end up losing and I switched to Zarya, reason they have a lot of spam, which means high ult charge. Only problem is not great against Ryan. You also don't do a good job like eating that charge for bubble, for the spam for charge. Yeah, so you asked some questions about like when that Zarya does right click play here. You know, obviously I think I answered that. Small grab, mostly ensure pick when clock is low. I think the grab is okay. I'm also almost certain the correct play here is not to play Zarya. Yes, that is correct. I mean, I think that if you were a better Zarya, it was still doable. But I do not think that you put yourself in a good position. I think you put yourself at a disadvantage trying to play Zarya in that situation. Looking to take high ground. All right, but get caught in the trap. I move forward anyways. All right, let's see what happens. Let's eat this. Great. Oh, all sorts of goodies here. So, funny thing. You did not mention. No, you did mention. You said what your second best hero to play is Winston. Winston is super good here. Winston is so good against this lineup. Winston's really good against Sigma. Winston's super good against Symmetra, right? Winston's good against Ana and is good against Junkrat, right? And it's like okay against Moira. Playing D.Va here is tough because D.Va you have to track, right? You have to actually need to aim. And so thin, small targets like Symmetra, especially ones that do a lot of damage and make you feel nervous as they build the charge against you, those are not good targets for D.Va to shoot. It's not impossible, but it's not good, right? Winston also kills turrets very, very quickly. So I think you should have opened as Winston here, especially knowing that they played Symmetra on the previous round and clearly felt comfortable with it. Econ trap. I think this is okay. You have enough health that this is still doable. You force him off. You lost a soldier though, so there's nothing you can do, right? I would just leave, yeah. Like, your soldier died on the way in, you know, it is what it is. You got caught in the trap, which kind of prevents you. Ah, this is the wrong timing. Right? Your team's not here. Like, you can go ahead and take this, but you're going to get forced off very quickly. Presumably going to get forced off. Yeah, junk coming for you. Right, Sim teleports back up. Alright, you recognize that Sigma's like a little out of position. I don't think I would have dove that because I just don't feel like it's going to result in anything useful. You use up all your Matrix. Again, like, you spend so much time trying to kill turrets that it's silly. So you're not particularly good at fighting that close range fight. You actually do a pretty good job damaging the Symmetra. I don't know if it's you or someone else, but you actually do a lot of damage against the Symmetra. Oh, Soldier hits it. Soldier hits it too. I was like, how did you do so much damage? Alright, now you need to get back. Okay, this is fine. Alright, so now you force them onto the point. This is a mistake. I guess it's not like so big a mistake, but I think that was a very dangerous dive. I think I would have walked up to the corner and looked to see what the situation was. Because this long flight path, you could have been slept or rocked out of the air, and then you would have potentially lost mech from there. So I would have walked to the corner, right, where they have less time to react, and then tried to boost here. But I think this is the right call. Very good off angle on the Sigma, like clearly making the Sigma uncomfortable, forcing him out of position, he forces grasp. Alright, you get nano, now you have to get kills. Again, don't play this far away, right? You're nanoed right now, you have boost, go. Go in right now. But you should boost into the Moira, force fade. Go over the Sigma, good, right? Sigma's cut off, that's really good. So you're gonna get some kills here, but I honestly feel like you actually had very little impact, to be honest. Other than taking high ground, which I think was critical to making this happen. From like you killed the Sigma, but like you did almost none of that damage. And then you killed the Ana, but again, you did almost none of that damage. So the number one biggest thing you did, which was impactful, was to take high ground. I think that was actually quite valuable. But while you were actually nanoed, I don't think you actually did that much damage. Okay, so you take high ground here. Again, be very careful about getting poked out too much in the D.Va. I honestly just wouldn't go this way, because like the Junkrat's going to keep spamming you, and the Sim is going to microwave you when you step forward anyway. I think you're like, wait, just don't go this way. I think that you take the cart, move it forwards to here, and then go the other way, rather than having them continually spam the Junk. Alright, so you're not trying to knock the Sigma back, but the primary issue here is that you're at 361. So you're very vulnerable to getting D-mech right now. Like, if the Sigma had rock, he just rocks you here, and then you die. Right, so yeah, definitely hold Matrix well. You know, so again, like you spend so much time. Like, who cares about these traps? Like, you can deal with them later. You know what I mean? Like that turret on the ground couldn't possibly have been a priority to you. This trap over here, where your team is like getting hauled in your spawn, not a priority. You should be putting pressure on the actual team. Right? Shoot heroes, not props. That's gonna be one of the sayings here. Shoot heroes, not props. All right, Ana's low. Right, you recognize it, but you can't really do anything about it, which I agree with. Again, you're picking an angle where 4 people can shoot at you at once. Right? At least 3 of them can shoot at you at once. And you're just not syncing up well with your team. Versus, hypothetically, like imagine that you shifted over here. This is a great spot. Right? You're immediately going to force the Ana back if you're playing this spot right here. Think about those off angles. Right now, like you just take way too much damage. Again, like ammo's free, right? They're just going to keep shooting at you. I think this is a potentially good bomb. I will say that after you toss this bomb, you should have immediately went back and down the stairs, especially because they're coalescing. But instead, I think you actually walk forwards. Yeah, so by the way, when you pop bomb, you can hold the directional key to control which way you go. And you can also hold spacebar to get extra height if you need to. So you should have been holding S, right, backwards here, so that you didn't pop forwards, you would have popped backwards and then gone down the stair. Alright, so they use, no, they all just straight up live from this. What happens to the bomb? What the heck? Oh, they all just cover this way. Yeah, I think I kind of noticed that. So the better angle for bomb would have been to toss it right here and slam against the wall, and that way it would have been very hard for them to get around this. No, they still would have made it. Yeah, I think this bomb ends up being really bad, which I would say also applies to my general rule, which is don't use bomb to try to get kills, right? Especially when you have health, don't use bomb to get kills. Use bomb when you absolutely have to get a second life. This is a big mistake. Alright, you go Winston. Oh, pleasant surprise. This is a bad bubble, right? You're not really in. So measure the bubbles in terms of like, I mean, excluding when you need to save a teammate or something like that. How much damage were you able to do with the bubble? Well, that's about 15 damage. That's it, right? You use the bubble for 15 damage-ish on that nano. That's not good value, okay? What should you have done instead? First of all, you don't want to peek over the top. You're not a long-range hero, right? You're just going to get spammed here, right? You've already taken 426. You would have taken more if you didn't put bubble down, right? Just wait, right? Play up here, okay? Or play jump and like sit in the back line, wait for jump check cooldown, and then potentially go after that, okay? Again, you're trying so hard to kill these turrets. It's like you think your job is to kill every turret in the game. You do not beat Sigma in close range fights, right? Sigma does 110 damage for every burst. You do 60 damage a second. It's not good. Like, this is kind of a waste of time. All right, so you reload. I like the way you reloaded and waited before you jump. This jump is way short. Where are you going? Right? You should be landing here, deep. Because you see the trap, so you know you're not going to land a trap. You should be landing here, on top of them, immediately force fade, right? And then kill a Junkrat. That's what you should be doing. Instead, you jump here. Now you're just zapping the Sigma. Now you're like covering. Yeah, you completely wasted that nano. Then you pop bubble, but then you reload. Right? So the bubble's not going to do anything. Then you, once again, kill some more turrets. Great, but like, who cares? Then you jump the Sigma, who is like not really that vulnerable. He's like purple, so I guess. So I guess he's killable here, yeah. Nope, I guess he's not killable. Yeah, I was like questioning. I'm like, I don't feel like this is the right call. So typically in situations like this, you almost never want to go for the tank, right? Go for the Ana. Yeah, the Ana would instantly die here. I guess it gets killed anyway. So I think you just walk forward, zap a little bit, and look, right? And then put down bubble. Usually not bubble, but I don't know that I would try to definitely at this point do not go down here. This is Sigma with the mini as well is gonna kill you. Right? You actually knock him into that mini. Funny enough. I think you just get healed up with the Ana and then kill him. Again, you have to swing wide of this corner. So I actually like the general idea here. I think what you want to do is jump here and then put down bubble and then zap them. I think that would have been really good. But you go way too far, and I don't know if this is intentional or not. I don't think it's intentional. Don't bother holding right click for turn. Just zap them, for the love of God, please. Please just hold left click. Right? It's like, this is such a good moment right here. You could be zapping 2, maybe 3, possibly 4 heroes, but you have 64 ammo because you've been spending so much time right clicking people. I think jumping back is a good call here, right? Sigma's just killing the rest of your team. Right? I think you just need to hide. You don't want to die right now because you really want to give your team a charge. Okay, again, you jump way too early, right? You still have 60 health left. Tire is wasted. It's fine. All right, zap, 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 zap. You have primal here. Oh. So you dropped to 74. It is the correct decision to primal. Or rather, you need to primal to not die, but I don't think that I pursue this aggressively. I think I stay here at the doorway, zap, 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 force them to the room, come back out, get healing for my team, and then jump down here. Because they're trapped, you know? There's like no way they're getting out. I don't want to force primal here if I don't have to, and I don't think I necessarily need primal. It's pretty good primal, actually. Yeah, that's good. Oh, okay, this is gonna be a heck of a play. Oh man, big Winston energy right there. Okay, so that was actually a very good stretch. I personally wouldn't have done this. I think this was like an intense, like very dangerous play because you could have been slept here, right? Which would have resulted 100% in you dying because your jump jet would be on cooldown. But I guess you had bubble to work around. Again, what is the Ana doing? Why does she not? She doesn't have sleep? Did you know she didn't have sleep? Yeah, what is the sleep that she throws? Okay, you might have heard it. You might have heard it. Yeah, I think this ends up being a really good play. So I also think that you could have killed this Ana. Like, you bubble dance here, but I think that if you just continue walking to the right, you kill her, like, in a couple more seconds and don't have to use the jump to kill her. Because I'd be very scared after this of being killed by people in the spawn. Also, the Sigma misses a lot of shots at you. I am confused where that rock went. Did he actually manage to hit the bubble with that? Right? Like, what the heck? How did that hit the bubble? Alright, anyway. Hits it. Misses one. He jumps there, which messes him up. Yeah, I mean, I'm going to say overall, I think this is a really good play. I personally wouldn't have done this, but because, like, I wouldn't have, like, been so confident with the timings of the respawns, but, you know, it worked for you. It ended up being a very good play. I'll give you the benefit of the doubt and believe that you actually calculated that they would not have been able to get on the spawn in time, which is possible, right? It's a thing that you could have known for sure. I was wondering like why this game feels so fast. Boosted speed. Okay, so you jump up here, everyone's kind of out of range, and then you're like, wait, and then you put bubble down, and now you're getting absolutely shredded. So they have a. If I were you, I would just switch right now because I don't want to play Winston into Bastion on third point. I think that is going to be not fun. It's just way too hard to play Winston here, in my opinion. All right, you're just kind of farming charge here, which is fine. No, this feels like not the play. You go in when you're already at 380 health. They have Coalescence right now. The Junkrat's about to go to the Mega, and you have 70 health, and you jump. This is a mistake. Okay, you pop Orisa, which is fine. Pop Fortify to get out, I understand that. Again, like, after I got that pick, right, as soon as I see the Bash get a pick, go forward. I would be going forwards, like, aggressively now. Right, remember, 6 seconds up, 10 seconds down for Bastion. Right, you probably like 3-4 seconds left. Don't spin there, you don't need it. You get cart as cover, you didn't need it. Ugh. So, fun fact about Bastion ulti for Orisa, you can look up because the shots come down from the ceiling. If you stand here and look straight up, you'll block the projectile. I actually want to see it live. Yeah, see that projectile? You can just look up and eat it. Genji can deflect it. Sigma can grasp it. You can do all the normal stuff. So. Yeah, I'd be like, I think this fight's over because you lost 2 right away. So you have to be very careful about using spin here because you really want to save spin for. Oh man, you fed the Sigma so much health. Yeah, you have to be very careful about not having spin up when Bastion has the tank form because that's your best defense and your team's best defense against it. Yep. Kill the Bastion right away. You saw him. I think you should immediately. This is like confusing that you popped and then you don't look to the left to kill the Bastion, who you knew was super low. Right? The Bastion's your #1 threat while you still have tank form. Yeah. So after you get this, right, get this kill. You see the Moira? Go after. Right? Javelin shooter. Go ahead. Why not? Like, what's the point? There's 4 people on cart right now. You only need 3. You gotta go up and take that corner. Right? You really want to be able to stuff like here and prevent them from getting a clean exit.
Got it.
10 seconds.
No, see, you're using spin like not so well because you wait until the Bastion's actually like shooting and like looking, and then you go after it. I appreciate that you tried to kill this tire. Because I do think that you had to kill the tire. So this is a good javelin on Moira. But then you kind of walk into the rest and die. Into the artillery. Yeah, I mean, there's not a lot of space for you to go. You just eat that. I think the push itself was fine. I think the primary issue was simply that you didn't have enough time because of all the other mistakes that you made. So But I think the push itself was. I don't think you should have played Winston because you really only got 2 fights in this point, right? And one of them you wasted trying to play Winston into this, and then your Orisa play was like fine, like it wasn't that bad. But again, like only having 1 fight to try to push the cart the whole way is gonna be really hard in any situation. Like I don't think that if I'd been playing this game with only 1 push with overtime to try to get to the one, I don't know that I could have done it. Okay, so which is the strongest hero that you played? I would say Winston. Yeah, I would say definitely Winston. Followed by Orisa. I think Orisa. Followed by Zarya. Followed by Diva. It's tough, right? Because the Zarya, like, we didn't see enough. I'm not really gonna rate the Zarya because like we didn't really see enough. No, I would say Diva and Zarya. Yeah, so I think that matches the order that you said them to. Yeah, I would say Winston. No. Actually, I would say your Orisa was better than your Diva or Zarya. So I would say Winston, Orisa, Diva, Zarya. But I think your Zarya play was like so poor that's like really hard to tell because like from such a small snippet. Okay, number 2, are your mechanics going to hold me back? I mean, your mechanics are always going to hold you back, right? If you get better at aiming, better at using missiles, better using bubbles, like et cetera, like they're always going to hold you back. Can you climb back to Masters? Would you have it? Absolutely not. Let's just think of just the aim alone. Your aim needs to be much better to get back to Masters. Overwatch 1, depending on when you were Masters, was much easier. Like I know people who were like GM in like season 1, season 2, who wouldn't get out of platinum now. I would say, so it is much harder as the game got on and more players got more experience and our understanding of the game increased to be in the higher ranks. Which is the recent hero play? I'd already answered that. How much is losses on me? A lot. Quite frankly, a lot of losses on you. I didn't feel like anybody in your team was actually playing that poorly. Like I think everybody in your team was playing like pretty normal. In which case, this is a game that if you deserve to climb, like this is a very winnable game. And you made a lot of mistakes, both on a meta level and a micro level. Okay, so overall, I feel like you generally know what to do as tank. I think that's good, right? It clearly shows like you know like the space creation, and you're constantly trying to do that. I would say there's all these like micro mistakes, and then the meta or macro mistakes are mostly like playing the wrong hero in the situation, or not like understanding exactly what the hero can do in the situation. More so than like not knowing what your objective is, which I think is good. And I think it demonstrates your I would say higher level understanding compared to your mechanics, right? I wouldn't be surprised if you get back into diamond, like low diamond, pretty soon. I don't think it's going to take you that many games and to get into low diamond, but I think mechanics definitely be cleaned up. Geez, after watching this many heroes, I don't even know if I have like a short list of summary. I would say number 1, stop shooting props. Like Symmetra turrets, junk traps, mines. Like there's times to shoot it, but there are times you shoot it when like you absolutely don't need to do so. There's no need, and like you're really going out of your way. You're like using missiles to kill, a single Symmetra turret like way in the back line. That's a waste of your time. I think that your Diva has issues for sure. Your Winston was good, obviously. Like that was really good until they win Bastion. I think if you win Winston the whole game, you probably win this game. Assuming they don't go Bastion or Reaper or something like that. Diva has issues. Your Zarya has huge issues. Like you're not good at farming energy with her. And Diva, you're just not necessarily doing the right thing at the right time, which is really complicated to explain. For Zarya, getting walked over, Orisa was fine. I mean, like I didn't look at the Orisa play. I was like, oh, this looks totally wrong. I think that again, you didn't have a lot of time to play. You basically only had 1 life, right? So it's not a lot of time to observe the Orisa play. I'm sure, like, I know, and I did mention things like, hey, like feeding the Sigma charge and things like that, but I'm not really going to comment on Orisa because it's just not a lot of time. Okay, hopefully that's helpful.